It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Dudes. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank. And for the next 60 minutes, it's Theme Park Thursday Eve that we are recording.
Yes.
We thought we were going to have a nice Festival of the Arts at the halfway point discussion.
Yeah.
We haven't really touched on Festival of the Arts since it started in January.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like we were going to have a nice leisurely conversation with our special guest that we would discuss momentarily.
Sure.
But then, here on Wednesday afternoon, Disney decides to take the table and just like flip it, and all the papers go flying everywhere.
Don't they know it's not Theme Park Thursday yet?
I mean, what they heard we were doing the recording, and they were like, well, we'll give you some news. You want some news? Here you go. Boom, Moana 2. What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to the other sequel-related announcements made earlier today, but I don't want to leave our guest in the green room waiting that long. Yep. Jen, is there anything I need to do to properly introduce our guest? Perhaps if you could think of a couple of things, maybe you could flower it with some lovely language as being the light side of Dillos Diz here.
So just put me on the spot for the intro. Sure. This person, I'm going to go through the history. I personally got to meet this person in person after he appeared in our chats sometimes during the Parks and Monorail's most magical hour, and on the Twitter, on the X, whatever you call it these days. And I got to meet him before you, which sometimes doesn't happen. You get to meet some people before I get to meet them. I don't love it. I got two on you, I think, at this point. Obviously, the one is Steffers, and we don't have to discuss that you just hang out in her state and not visit her. But this person has become a dear friend of ours. He is super supportive of us. Mm-hmm. We love hanging out with him. We love talking pockets with him. Mm-hmm. And we felt like he would be a great man on the scene for us during Festival of the Arts and all things Epcot. It is the one and only Theme Park Rob.
Hello, Theme Park Rob.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having me on Theme Park Thursday.
Thanks for being here, and thanks for sporting our merch while you're doing it.
Oh, of course. I mean, everyone
calm down.
There it is.
That seems appropriate for tonight, doesn't it? With what Disney did all day long to us.
Mm-hmm.
Just riling everybody up with their announcements.
Yeah.
Just doing a whole. I mean, since you were in Epcot yesterday, Rob, did you pass through the journey of water and like did it tell you anything? Did it give you any tips? Some inside baseball? Anything?
I did not pick up anything. I did go through, but I didn't pick up on anything other than they need to do a little maintenance on a few things. But
already that's interesting. Do you, when you're going through the Moana experience, do you get all of the elements? You get water, obviously. Do you get the Disney breeze to represent air? Do you get a little piece of everything?
There was a Disney breeze yesterday, but it was not comfortable. It was
then that's not a Disney breeze. Then that's not a Disney breeze, Theme Park Rob.
Yeah. They do have a few of the elements. I don't think they have
it was a cool breeze. Is that what we're saying? It was a cool Disney breeze. It's not a Disney breeze. Right?
Was it windy? Yeah. That's not a Disney breeze.
Yeah. I think the high yesterday was 62, and it was gusty all day long. So it was
62.
And to say, Jen forced Rob to go to Epcot.
I twisted his arm.
She twisted my arm exactly.
I was like, "Hey, you
What do you-
want to hang out with us? And also, if you feel like it, no pressure. But if you want to dip into Epcot, just check some stuff out. That's okay."
I'm easily it's easy to coerce me into something like that. That's fine.
Do you enjoy the journey into water? You like passing through? You like walking through? What's your feelings as you're experiencing it?
Right now, it's very crowded.
Mhm.
I mean, even on a low attended day, it's really crowded back there. I think that once people get used to it being there, maybe it'll drop off a little bit. I enjoy seeing it, but it's not going to be a regular thing for me. I won't go every time I'm there.
Right.
But it is interesting.
Do they pace people through it, or is it just one big
Yep.
free for all?
Yeah. Just stroll on in,
Mhm.
and you can stay at each station as long as you like. They do have cast members there, but they're not moving you along at all.
No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, this attraction suddenly becomes more interesting today because I think
Yeah.
part of the scope of Moana and its presence within Disney has led them to this today. I'm going to share the screen just to bring it up here, and maybe I'll talk over
Share the
16
screen. Can
seconds.
everyone see it?
You see the screen, the Moana 2?
Why is everything highlighted on your YouTube? What are you doing?
Listen,
Old.
I'm old.
Old.
So, this 16-second announcement today, getting everyone hyped. That's it. That's all you needed.
Yeah.
That's all you needed.
Crash the internet.
Mhm.
That's it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was supposed to be a TV series, as talked about today. They were working on a series of some kind, and they were like, listen, I was working in the parks in the late 90s when they were like, this Toy Story 2 was supposed to be direct to video, but what we're actually going to do is put it in the theater. And so this is not an unprecedented thing where they looked at a Disney Plus series, so everyone calmed down and said, we're going to turn this into a movie. Everyone's like, how are you going to do it in a movie? It's supposed to be a TV series. It's going to be okay. They're going to turn it into a movie. And within 10 months. So there's a lot to be said there. But I think, again, with the attraction, what have they been waiting for 8 years? It is so popular. Every year that Disney Plus has another year, they're like, oh, Moana is still in the top whatever of our most watched things on Disney Plus ever. Every year, it keeps showing up. And right now we have a water attraction to walk through. That's what we have to show for it. I'm not getting angry, I swear.
I was afraid that they were just late to the party putting in this water attraction, not knowing that this was happening.
Yeah, I know. And then it's kind of like, is it because I want to know, when was the idea hatched? How long have you been working on it? Was it seeing how Moana has performed on Disney Plus? Because to me, I see Lewis stirring the pot. I don't like this.
He's already unhappy.
To me, quite honestly, if there was not a Moana 2, I'm okay with that. I love Moana, but I think it's good as is. So I don't feel like I needed a second one. Not to say I won't enjoy it or be excited or be at that theater, but I don't know that I was like, oh, I could really use a sequel to this movie. However, so you wonder if it was like, is it something based off the numbers of the last few years of how it's been doing on Disney Plus, or was this always the plan? And then they put in this attraction to then go, oh, we're going to do more. Get ready. I don't know.
How long does it take to make a movie like this? I mean, that's one thing you got to think about too. They've probably been working on it for 5 years.
Right.
And if you talk about, 2020, probably 6 years.
I
mean, seriously, 5-6 years on this.
Yeah.
I think they knew I think they knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
When it didn't come down from the top at the beginning,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, if I did the comparison to Toy Story, I think you could do the comparison to Frozen 2, not Frozen 2, Frozen 1.
Frozen also?
Frozen as well.
Also, where it came out like gangbusters. And to be fair, the soon to be 8-year-old, this is the movie came out as like, she was a baby, so I didn't pay
Mhm.
attention to anything. So to me, the Frozen hype was huge. I don't know if Moana matched that. It was up there. Don't get me wrong. But I
Mhm.
think Moana had the sustainability. So where Frozen, they were like, we got to do something. We got to close Maelstrom. We got to put the princesses in the fairy tale thing. We got to do all this thing to keep the Frozen going. But you looked at it and you knew it was going to be a Broadway show. You knew it was good. There was going to be a sequel to that one. It was too big to not look at that way. And Moana has just kind of had this consistency
Yeah.
that I think is very what do I want to say? It's underrated, I think, in its consistency and
Mhm.
how popular it really is. I don't think it's talked about that much of that. It has had this sustainability for 8 solid years. Frozen, I think when when it comes out, the next Frozen thing comes out, everyone gets excited, and then it calms down. I think Moana has just rode this wave of consistency for 8 years now. It's wild.
Mhm. Rob, how are you feeling about it, considering you have a close tie to Hey Hey?
Oh, of course. I'm looking forward to it. I love
Yeah.
Moana. It's one of we can watch it anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was very pleased when I saw that there was a second one coming out. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Uh, yes,
More
and
Hey
Hey Hey is definitely, yeah,
And of course,
very,
because of
very
all,
close to me.
Yes, very close to you.
very, very close. And because of all this news today, we have not prepped Rob at all. We don't prep anybody really ever, but
No.
we didn't prep Rob for anything we're going to talk about today. But I really, the other thing I want to talk about as it relates to the Epcot attraction is, the things that have been blue skied in the past. So we talked about Beyond Frontierland, but I really want to talk about Animal Kingdom, Dino Land, and people like Indiana Jones or Encanto, or I mean, at this point, when you have a Moana 2 coming out there, they're pushing the button on it. Is the move now to be a little South Seas flavor over in Dino Land? Do something with Moana over there. Maybe you spin the Indiana Jones ride into Dinosaur a little bit with more of a Polynesian flair, so to speak.
Mhm.
And that's what Dino Land becomes. Because at this point, I'm like, have Moana have a stronger presence, or are we going to be annoyed that she's in 2 different parks and they did a thing over here in Epcot? And right,
Yeah.
I'm presenting all the options in my long-winded, not really a question for Rob.
Do not bring her to Animal Kingdom.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't have Toy Story Land in Animal Kingdom,
Mhm.
Epcot, Magic Kingdom. You don't have anything from Star Wars in any of the other parks. And I realize that Moana could be kind of molded and shaped to fit into Animal Kingdom,
Mhm.
but I don't want them to do that.
Mhm.
I like it. I'm with what they're doing right now with it. I wish they could have done more at Epcot, but yeah, I'm a one part kind of person. I just keep them where they're at.
Yeah. I kind of agree, only because I mean, to your point about Toy Story, you have Toy Story Land in the studios, but you do have Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin in Tomorrowland, which did come
Thank you.
first,
Still drove me
but
crazy at the
also
time.
people I think people have a lot of feelings about that. Like, well, it's kind of we like both things, but to have the presence in 2 parks, it and then obviously speaks to the larger IP conversation of which IPs, where are they, and how much of them, and all of that. So yeah, I feel like if you did this whole thing in Epcot, then kind of go more with the Epcot presence than stretching it out. Not to say, because that we don't like change for the sake of change. And here's Dinoland just sitting here. What are you guys doing? What are we doing with this area? Do something with it. So, in one way, it makes sense, but I don't know that that's the right choice. Maybe Moana will take over the land. Just kidding. Don't comment and come at me.
Oh, soaring over the South Seas. Is that what you want, Jen?
Ooh, that would be
I
a
was
nice
thinking of the
land
land
into it.
ride,
Come
because
on, Van, let's go.
yeah.
Soaring
Yeah.
over-
Is there a possibility that something like that could be going in since they're making a new?
Mm,
Did Jen just dropped the bomb over here?
bum bum bum. Didn't even know it. See, I just start saying things, and look what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I think people have a lot of feelings when the same things are in too many parks, or more than one at least.
No, I mean, and I'll always go back to Buzz Lightyear going into Tomorrowland in 1999, where I'm like, the Buzz and Woody meet and greets are in the studios.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing over there? You come back this way. I was not happy.
Yeah, and
I was also really cranky in 1999 compared to now.
Not as cranky as the mid 2000s, but somewhere and
The mid 2000s.
Where can you meet Moana? Anywhere at this point? Because I know she has.
They did an Animal Kingdom meet and greet for a little bit, right? I don't know if that's still going. That's a good question, Jen. I should know the answer to.
I feel like she was in Magic Kingdom at one point too.
The first time we ever saw her was at Magic Kingdom, but it was during the Halloween
cavalcade.
It was during the Halloween party. Yeah. She is in the cavalcade.
Yeah.
Or the friend parade. What the heck's that called?
Rock'em Sock'em. Isn't that the old one? What's the old one called?
They all blend together, those cavalcades at this point.
At this point, exactly. I can't remember first time ever I saw him. Okay, Lewis.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any place to meet her.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, why isn't she at the Polynesian at the breakfast? Maybe change that to a Moana breakfast instead of Lilo and Stitch. Sorry, Lilo and Stitch.
Don't start. Why don't you just make a fifth gate have a Polynesian flair, and you can have Lilo and Stitch, and you can have Moana, and you can have fifth gate talks. Let's start
beyond Frontierland or
beyond Frontierland. That's right. Well, I mean, if you keep going west, right, eventually you're gonna get overseas, and you got Lilo and Stitch, and you got Moana over there. I mean, I don't know, because part of me for Dino Land, I feel like Indiana Jones and Encanto makes the most sense. I feel like you can get there, but it's the ride. I'm not saying Indiana Jones is a perfect fit for Animal Kingdom, but the ride track being what it is makes sense. But considering the aspect of in Encanto, I feel like you have a little bit. You have a little bit to go on there if you so choose. If you want to build the Casa Madrigal. So,
Lewis is feeling that Moana will be perfect at either Animal Kingdom or Epcot.
I would like Lewis to elaborate on that, because I think for me, like, there's a block. I'm not saying that, like, as you worded it, Jen. I never really thought about Moana blending into the land, and I think that's. And you got the ocean and you got the land, right? You got both right there. So you got the seas and the land. So maybe that can make sense. But I would like Lewis to elaborate on the why of that for sure.
Does he mean either like either or like either
or both
or Epcot or both? That's
we're going to need further commenting from you, Lewis. Thank you.
Yes,
so,
I would like
add a land over where the Outback area is for Epcot.
For either. He's saying either for Epcot. Right. So, I mean, I think that's where, and because the other announcement that dropped today was about the Zootopia sequel coming out in the next couple of years. And, that has been talked about for Animal Kingdom as well on occasion. So Disney can't keep their options over there. I feel like they're to me, it just screams of like they're afraid to do anything, and I don't know why they're so afraid. Just do. There is no try. Just do.
Yeah, I mean, Zootopia for me is we have talked before about this, that the Zootopia land that's opening in is that in where is Zootopia land? I don't want to say the wrong park. Who's gonna fact check
Is
me?
it
Is it Shanghai or is it?
Yeah.
I don't know which
That's
one it
right.
is.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So So all of us fail. We're a bunch of frauds. But I think it's such a cool land, so awesome. However, I don't have Zootopia ties really, but I think I said last week about something else, that Zootopia has that fan base that I don't even realize sometimes, and people come for it and really are all in with it. So I get that. So it makes sense that there's a sequel there, and it'll be interesting to see if they do more with that in Disney World or even Disneyland. I don't know.
So Lewis is in the chat and he suggests, he's talking about World Showcase is where he thinks that as a, and I mean, I think both of those are fair. I think in Kanto you can make that case too. Like, why not have that be in World Showcase as well? There's a lot of pockets, which is why Theme Park Rob is here with us today in Epcot.
Right.
Why not create more pockets?
Yes.
So before we move into Theme Park Rob's very windy, breezy day at Epcot on Tuesday, let me just say, I'm just gonna give you a hashtag everything is wrestling angle before I go. And I mean, it's not related to anything else going on in my life currently. I just want to talk about this for a moment. So last week, The Rock appeared on SmackDown, and he's like the biggest star in going. He just joined the WWE Board of Directors. TKO that owns UFC bought the WWE. It's a whole thing going on. So seemingly, The Rock has interjected himself into the WrestleMania 40 picture. There are fans of the biggest hero in the company right now, Cody Rhodes, not getting the proper opportunity at WrestleMania 40. This created a big anti-Rock faction out on the social media, and a very hashtag we want Cody faction on social media. And I'm just saying that maybe The Rock was like, can you announce this Moana 2 already so that people things start going my way again this week, please.
Right.
Just saying,
I was going to ask you about, because I did see some hullabaloo with The Rock, and I was like, what did The Rock do? But saw that it was more wrestling story based, and I was like, okay, be careful, Rock. But yeah, I mean, I think The Rock is so tied to Disney. How could he not be the one to decide when this announcement was dropped? It makes sense, of course.
Everything is wrestling. Everything.
Yeah.
Especially this week. Theme Park Rob, tell us about your breezy day at Epcot. And maybe first just talk about the Journey into Water. Did you hit any other attractions yesterday?
Journey of Water was more at the end of the day. Like I said, I do enjoy going through there, but it's not one of those draws for,
I so Papa Dillo the name of this attraction, because I say Journey into Water every time. And like it's Journey into Imagination or something. Journey of Water.
And let's see, what other attractions did I do? I don't think I did any.
That was the only attraction.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No rides.
Yep, it was strictly, I was working.
You were on a mission.
I was working.
He was on the scene.
We pay you top dollar, Theme Park Rob.
Right.
So I mean,
but yeah, it was breezy.
Do you think I would have been cold? Would I have needed my hat? Oh man, I would have needed my hat and gloves.
Yeah. I mean, I wore a windbreaker, so for me to, I was not in shorts and t-shirt yesterday. It was.
I mean, I did see you in a sweater though that January, Theme Park Rob. You were cold that day.
We were.
So it was a little warmer than that. All right.
There was a Jen Sickle there with us that day. But as far as our pockets, I mean, that was That was primarily what I went over there for.
Mm-hmm.
I will
I mean,
say
Jen,
this:
can I have Jen describe? Because I think Jen does the best description
yes,
of what
Oh.
we mean by pockets
yeah,
within the Walt Disney World theme parks.
yeah,
Again, these put on the spot moments today.
It is a
Pocket.
podcast where we converse about
What? A Dillo's pocket, a place where you can experience all the Disney feels, semicolon, a place where you can just take it all in. You can have a seat. It's not so crazy and noisy. You're not stressed out trying to rush somewhere else. You can do a little bit of people watching. You can feel the Disney breeze, but you just be in it. You can just be in that bubble of Disney magic and just feel all the feels. That is a Disney pocket. Did I describe it all right?
I mean, that was pretty good. Pretty good.
yeah. That's
Pretty
pretty
good.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We did episodes. I don't know what's that. Maybe that was the end of 2020 into 2021, where we did Magic Kingdom, did Epcot. I think we did Studios. I think Tom and Michelle joined us from Hyperion Adventures podcast for Disneyland. But Theme Park Rob, he went around and was like, I'm going to find all these pockets, and so he would share them with us, and we were like, no, we gotta go back. So this is where we are now.
I think that's like one of the first like memories of Theme Park Rob, like really being in our world of like, oh, what? He like went around to all our pockets and he videoed it. What? Who is this? What is happening? Oh my God, people listen to us? What? We should, but I'll have to find that link and then I'll put it in the notes below after this so that then anyone doing the replay can go and watch Rob's video.
Yeah, that was 3. Well, I was living in Florida, so it was at least 3.5 years ago.
That's crazy. What is time?
What is time? All right, Rob,
Here
tell
we
us
are.
about the pockets.
Yes.
I want to lead off with saying that I feel that Epcot has a different type of pocket feel than Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Only because you don't have that smell of the popcorn. I mean, I realize they sell popcorn at Epcot.
It's not the
but you
same.
don't have the confectionery. You don't have the calliope music. It's just there's something about that Magic Kingdom feel that you can't get anywhere else. And Epcot's one of the places. Now, not taking anything away from Epcot because it has its own thing going now.
Yeah.
I struggled with what would be a pocket and what wouldn't. So I'll just kind of go through. I know we're already 30 minutes into this.
Hi. That's like we do.
Oh, I know. I've been here long enough. I know exactly what kind of time constraints we're under. Actually, right inside, once you walk past the gates, there in the plaza in front of Spaceship Earth, you got those benches that are off to the left-hand side. I mean, as soon as you walk in, if you're, I don't think you're going to want to hang out there in the morning unless you're waiting for somebody, or maybe you do. Maybe you want all the crowd to get by.
Yeah.
It's far enough away from that main flow of traffic. There's plenty of seating, and you can chill out there. Trees, you got some shade.
It's important.
We didn't even bring up shade, did we?
We should have brought up shade. Yes, it's important.
But I think that would be a good pocket. Just immediately right off to the left hand side, over by where you can rent the wheelchairs and the strollers on that side. I had to go back further into the park though to find my next one, at least my next one. And it's in the new section that opened back here in World Celebration Gardens. They have one section where you can do a meet and greet with Donald, and they have some benches that are built into the structure or into the
plants and stuff.
Yeah. they're a little weird. It's almost you sit way back into them,
Uh-huh.
so you can hang out there. But I've got a feeling if they're going to be doing meet and greets, that place is going to be busy anyway.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, based on both of these little
Mhm.
pockets here, to me, they would be really good ones at night because Spaceship Earth is all lit up. And to me, that would be on both sides a good place to kind of just sit and chill if there's music involved and just watch the changing of the colors on Spaceship Earth.
Yeah. Well, this
Yeah.
next one I think is probably the best spot. Well, I agree, but this is a new location, and when you get in there, you're gonna be like, this isn't too bad. It's close to the Communicore Hall that's still under construction. Back in this area, they have high top tables with permanently affixed chairs. They have some sliding. You can move the chairs around. They even have wheelchair accessible tables back here. And when I say there's tables, there are tons of tables back here, tons of seating. Underneath the tabletops, there are hooks to hang your backpacks on or your bags. They have 110 outlets, USB charging ports, so you can chill back there for a while. It's hidden for now. They've got they're waiting on the plants and trees to grow up. Once people notice it, though, I'm afraid that people are going to be hanging out there. It's very spacious, though. I mean, there's a lot of room.
Yeah.
So that is going to definitely be one because you have a nice view of Spaceship Earth. It's
Well, yeah, I think that's a big component that we probably should have prefaced with here, especially with now that the walls are down and the area has opened up and the replacement of what was previously the Fountain of Nations and everything that encompassed around the area is there. Are there pockets? And I feel like you have answered that with this new area, so that makes me curious. Yeah, and sometimes it is. It's a corner. It's an angle. It's a nook. It's a what is it? So even the first pocket that you mentioned, I think is it. If you're a family and you're visiting the first time and you are doing the stroller rental, or you're visiting with an older relative and you are getting the wheelchair or whatever it is, you're gonna get that moment because somebody you're not all getting in that line for the stroller or whatever it is. You are going to sit and get that moment of, okay, let me just look around and enjoy it for a few minutes. You actually, you have a chance to take that breath, especially if you're running around all day on your Genie Plus and your lightning lanes and this is my only time I'm ever going to visit, so I have to do it all. And I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, you got to know, you got to take that breath right there in that moment of a stroller rental. Do it. Look around.
Yes, exactly. Oh, Lewis is saying it is definitely more pocket worthy than it was with the fountain. The fountain was great, but it was a concrete zone otherwise. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's interesting because as you're talking about all the seating and all the tables, just to think of how little there was of all of that in that whole area. And how much, and they could have added that to that, especially around the fountain. I mean, if you sit too close to the fountain, you would get wet. So there was that. But yeah, that's interesting. I do have a question in this area. My favorite BGM, the Innoventions area loop, is not there anymore. How is the BGM these days?
Taking the music.
Still getting used to it. It's yeah. I mean, it's there, but it's not catchy. I don't.
There's no do 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 do. No. Okay.
Doesn't bop.
I think it's just something. It's new, and we're gonna. Oh God, we're gonna have to adjust to it.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You know what that was? Change for the sake of change. That's what that was.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Now that Jen is upset again.
Everyone calm down.
Yes.
Oh, me. It's just me.
Another spot is over by Guardians of the Galaxy. There's, how that pathway going to Guardians of the Galaxy and back toward Test Track and Mission Space is, it's wide open, but it is wall to wall people all the time. And I found this spot or this pocket 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. It is behind, when you're walking toward Guardians of the Galaxy, there's like an opening and you can walk toward, what was that building? It was right behind, that's still back there, the domed building.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was like Millennium. It was built for the Millennium year, and
Yeah.
it was like it's like a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
event.
Well, this area is right in front of that, and
Mhm.
there was nobody back there. And when I left, I walked past it at whatever it was, 2:00 in the afternoon, and there was still only a couple people sitting back there. They have benches, the benches that are built into the structure, built into the. I can't even think of the right word, but there's not a lot of foot traffic. It goes through there.
Mhm.
And I think maybe it's because people are too focused on going either to Guardians or back to Test Track or Mission Space. So I sat there yesterday morning with my coffee and just kind of took it in and thought, yeah, this is definitely one that that you could probably enjoy with very few people bothering you while you're back there.
A question is it so if you're looking at Guardians, is it to the left?
It's to the right.
Oh, it's to
If
the
you're
right.
looking at Guardians, it's to the right.
Oh, interesting. To the left. I know that area well, where I just sat down on the ground and just went, oh God, it's getting bad.
I missed the whole thing. Maybe I'm not thinking of the event space. Is it? Now I'm thinking. I said the event space earlier. My brain
Oh.
was in a different place altogether.
The dome
And Jen,
building, you
know
mean?
better.
Yeah,
But not by Wonders of Life, right? It's on the opposite side you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know Wonders of Life. I don't know.
Was it? Is it? Because I don't know. Did they get rid of the casting building back there? They cast member. There was a cast member building,
right? It's so different now. You
behind-
picture everything. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, behind Test Track. If you went back there, but to the side. So I'm wondering if that's maybe that area. I don't know.
Yeah, this is almost like where the Joffrey's is as you're walking toward. It's right across. It would be directly across from that. Well, you take your coffee, turn to the right, and you can walk to it.
Right.
Yeah, it's right there.
Just a question for Jen real quick. When she's on Test Track and she's looping around at the end, is she looking backstage at Epcot to see if the building configuration has changed?
Yeah. I think I've only been on it was during our September 2021 trip when we went. I think that's the last time I was on it. I don't recall what I saw, but I mean, since working there, that is where my eyes go every time. It's just the parking lot and what's back there now. So
because as I used to say, I used to park back there to go pick up Nine Dragons takeout.
Right.
But I think
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I remember doing one training session there once in one of the rehearsal spaces. But other than that, I know when I loop around now, I'm like, okay, where's Mission Space? Where is not Mission Space? Well, what's the Mission Space building? What is Space 220? What is I'm trying to figure it all out.
Right. Yeah, because and when you got Nine Dragons as, your Chinese food takeout that everybody does, you were able to drive them back behind, right?
Yeah, I was literally parking behind what was still the remnants of Horizons pretty much. And and cut between Mexico and Norway, go over to China, take my Chinese takeout, and go home.
Right. And that is the difference between you and I being cast members pre-2001 and post-2001.
Right.
Because I could not drive past those gates unless I was cleared and put on a list and all of that, which at some point I was for events, but prior to that I wasn't. And so even the cast member parking that was back there, I stopped going to because then I started parking in front of the park, which I think is frowned upon as a cast member,
Mm.
and went in kind of like when you go past the kennel, there was another like way to get in over there where there was security and I could go through and come out on the side of Spaceship Earth.
Did you work
Times.
there in the mid 2000s? Sorry, we derailed a little bit.
2000s.
Theme park.
No, it's
Continue
okay.
theme park Rob with your pockets.
Hey, I'm a guest. I just continuing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Moving on.
Because there's no way we'll get through all these. We might have to.
No, we must.
We might have to do. Okay, well then we need to speak. We need to speed this up.
So I can't tell any more stories. I don't understand from my cast member days. Every time you stop on one, hold on. Do you know what happened here? Can I tell you a story about that location?
That's why we're all here, Jen. We're here for the stories.
I mean, apparently,
Right?
because Nate said part of podcasting is the casting. And you know what, Nate? No, that's why I have you to go around and tell the Uber drivers what I do. Okay, continue, Rob.
Honestly, there weren't a whole lot more. There weren't a whole lot of pockets that I felt that were pockets. I mean, there
Yeah.
were places to park yourself and
Mhm.
sit down, but I didn't feel that it was pockety.
Yeah. And then you know what? It's not a pocket. If you don't
Right.
feel it, Rob, then it's not one.
Some people might though. Then I kept trying to tell myself that yesterday. So I mean,
Just as
Lewis-
Walt Disney said, if you can't feel it, then it's not a pocket. Put that on a
Exactly.
t-shirt.
That's a direct quote.
Now, my next one is a good one because you have a place to go and sit and enjoy your Tipsy Ducks in Love
Mhm.
right there by the China Pavilion. When you're walking toward the China Pavilion, you have the ponds in front of you. If you walk to the right-hand side, there's concrete benches right there, and they go way on around, which people never, they start to walk to where they see everybody sitting, they turn around and walk the other way. If you walk just a little further, you're sitting back there under trees and a canopy of trees, and you do get that Disney breeze back there.
Yeah.
And it's nice back there. We are giving out a big secret right here. So
I think I've said it before. I feel like, besides my Chinese food takeout, that China, and of course that's like 27 years ago, but China as a pavilion is one that I have not gone back on in a long time. Like I haven't gone deep into the pavilion. I feel like other ones in the time that we've done this podcast of 6 years, I feel like I've explored the nooks, the crannies, the pockets. But I feel like for some reason, China is never, I don't know if it's just like, I want to get to Mexico, but, or I want to go on the Frozen ride. But China is not one that I ever take the time to go far back and explore. And I mean, it has probably been a very long time since I have.
Yeah, you talk about Norway there. I had the tables that are in the area right there behind the Gods of the Vikings, between that and the restrooms.
Yeah.
But it is always just so crowded in there. I wrote it down, but I did not put it in my talk notes because the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, it's not. I couldn't relax back there.
I think talking about those crowds over there, and we talk often about the good restrooms in the parks. I feel like that Norway area restroom has become very popular over the years. And I get it because it's huge. At least the ladies' room is. It's just like what the comparison you have if you were to step into a Polynesian room as opposed to the All-Star rooms or something in terms of the size and the width of these, rooms and areas. That's how I felt in those bathrooms last time I was there. I'm like, this just feels very big. Like these were put in a very long time ago. But I do feel like I also think that there's a covering there, so a lot of people go there when it's raining. Like it's just become a very hot spot of helping a lot of people in different situations. So
I think go ahead.
No, sorry, Rob. I was gonna say, well, when you got the Odyssey restrooms, which
Mhm.
are the 1982 Epcot restrooms.
Yeah.
Like, there's no mistaking. Like, you walk in the Odyssey restrooms, and it's the year Jen was born. And you walk into Mexico, and you never know what you're gonna get because you don't know what's
You
happening
don't know.
over at La Cava. You don't
Uh-huh.
know what's going on. And so then it's like, oh well, I gotta go to Norway then. Like that,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the process for everyone. Everyone has discovered the Norway restrooms there because of bad experiences in the previous two restrooms.
Yeah. Well, good thing we've talked a lot about Norway because that's our thumbnail picture. And if we learned
Oh.
anything from Dave, it's that our thumbnail should match what we're talking about. So here we do. We did it. Here we go. We did it, everyone, is what I have to say.
All right.
Go on, Rob. We're doing really well not interjecting with stories. Go ahead.
Nope, that's okay. Look, I'm telling you, it's your show. The next one was at the Italy Pavilion, and this one, I think, the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to like it. It's near the Poseidon Fountain. If you're facing the fountain, it's on the right-hand side.
Mhm.
And again, it's just a bench. It's a single bench. You probably squeeze a family in there and squeeze a stroller in there. But it's not a bad spot to be.
Mhm.
Nobody can walk past you on the left-hand side. I mean, people were going to walk past you headed to get a piece of pizza or something, but you're out of the way. You're not in that main walking path. So, yeah, just to the right of the Poseidon Fountain. It's yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good
I
one.
didn't even I had never even noticed it until I was looking for these yesterday, and I hadn't seen it. So
I will be remiss if I didn't share that in the chat. Lewis did ask, what do you call all of these pockets in the heat of the Central Florida summer? And Jeffers said, hot pockets. I would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that
Hot
right now.
pockets. Mhm.
Hot pockets. Just hear Jim McGaffigan in your head right now. Hot pockets. But what I love about sitting in Italy is, and I will say it now that I've been to Italy. Whenever the first time I went was 20. It's all right. When I was in Italy in
With
the
my MFA in
summer
dramaturgy, and I was just
of
hanging out in Italy.
2013, is that I learned,
exactly.
I was reminded of, I was re-educated on a lot of the architecture in Italy. So the next time that I went to Epcot, I was like super excited to then see how they blended different architectural styles throughout the pavilion. And if you sit in Italy, or if you maybe I'll post the blog link I wrote 10, 12 years ago when we thought we were Disney bloggers for a little while.
That was us.
I'll try to drop that link in here too, because it's just really cool to see, like, oh, this is like part of the Vatican, and oh, this is like, some things, some things are Venice, and some things are Florence, and but if it goes a little, there's like a next level to that too.
Yeah.
Staying with Italy, one more thing. Across the plaza on the World Showcase Lagoon, where they have the bridge, there's a photo pass. Cast member usually there.
Where you can jump in the water, right? You can jump in the lagoon over there.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I was seeing it in my mind. They do have some chairs, high top chairs and a couple tables over the bridge. So even if
what's bad, I did notice that in that video of someone jumping in the water. I was like, hey, look at that! Look at the whole area up there.
See. I guess.
The guy's jumping in the water, and Jen's like, "Oh, those new tables and chairs?
Oh, what's that? Have I been there before? Oh, weird.
Well, now I confirmed it. It does
There
exist.
You go. Perfect.
It does exist. The American Pavilion, you got the picnic tables on the right-hand side, right there behind, what's it called? The artist table. I think that's what it's called right now. That would be okay. I mean, it's got some cover, protect you from the sun, protect you from the rain. I imagine it could probably get pretty crowded back there.
Yeah.
The Japan Pavilion, and this one I even put finally. Like, this was a really good pocket, or at least what I felt was a good one. Right behind the pagoda, there you walk up the little path. There's some steps that go off up to the left,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a space that I just think that would be an amazing spot to sit and take in the ambiance from that area, from that the Japan Pavilion.
I do believe that is the if you want to have a Disney wedding in the Japan Pavilion, I think that's where it is.
That would be a
In
beautiful
that
place to have it.
space. Yeah.
I mean, it
'Cause
really
I think
is.
it's like a garden over there, right? I think that's where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then you have the second floor over by Tokyo Dining. You go up the steps.
Oh, yeah.
I know they have an elevator to get up there too. There's no seating up there, but there's never anybody up there, and you can take in. You can see everything that's going on below you, and I mean
That's a
if
big
you-
fireworks spot. I learned
Yeah.
a couple summers ago.
Yep.
It's mentioned that the deeper the pavilion, the more pockets you can find. And I think, like, when I talk about China, to me, it's deceiving. That is, like, I look at it and go, oh, it's not. You can't go too far back. Like, you feel like you see everything when you look at it, and that's not the case. And I think a couple other pavilions are like that. Lewis mentions Canada, which I knew was deep, but it's one of those pavilions over these last 6 years that I have really enjoyed going back and taking a look. And it's so funny to me because anytime we posted a tweet the other day of like, oh, what restaurant have you not had that you want to have? And a lot of people were like, Le Cellier, Le Cellier, Le Cellier. And to me, every time I have to like remind myself that it is in Canada because I'm never that far back that I see like the signage and but I have been the last couple of years. So it's like every time I'm like, oh yeah, Le Cellier, I gotta go back. So yeah, totally true. I think China is one of those that are deceiving in how deep they are. Italy, because it has like it was supposed to have an attraction back where Via Napoli is, that it doesn't. It also kind of feels like, oh, it's just this like little plaza. But if you again, you can get those little nooks and crannies in there.
Yeah. Yeah, they just don't have the a good place to sit back there. I just
Yeah.
Morocco. Surprisingly, I mean, and this is one of those where we were talking about you got to walk back in there. You really got to get back into Morocco for this one. On the left-hand side, you have the Fez House. They have a wall fountain inside of there. You can hide from people in there. They won't find you.
Oh yeah, it's a labyrinth back there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Fez House has benches all around, and it is quiet. Now, I know, and I've had kids that were loud. If you get a crying baby in there or somebody that's fussy, needs a nap, it's got hot, you're not going to want to hang out in there because it'll be loud. It echoes a lot in there.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Did you test the echo?
No, but I have been in there before when somebody else was testing it.
I think if you had, that should have been recorded. So maybe another time, another mission. Rob.
That sounds like a TikTok for you.
A TikTok, exactly. Still in Morocco, walking back as far as you can, back by a restaurant, Marrakesh. There are tables and chairs. And I got on here, this could possibly be the best pocket in Epcot. Because nobody's going to walk back there unless they're going to a restaurant or if they get lost, air quotes, lost. So, and it seems like they've added more tables and chairs back there. So that is, if you want to get away from the crowds, this is probably the best spot to do it in. Hide Morocco.
Yeah. Can see that.
Jen, I probably asked you this many years ago. Have you partaken in the restaurant Marrakesh?
I have not.
Yeah. I did, and I want to say it was in the year 2000, not the mid 2000s, but the year 2000. So yeah, it's been a long time since, but I remember being really good.
I recall Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones being there and it being a news topic. whenever that
Huh?
was. I'll probably have to Google this to see how far back that was, but I recall that being a thing in a headline at some point. So, just random tidbits there.
Well, that was Romancing the Stone, right?
Oh,
Now after
no,
Romancing
I
the
think
Stone.
no, like they just went with their family.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought maybe it was some.
But maybe there was more to it. There's a whole
It was
little.
probably a remake for another Romancing the Stone Part 2.
Yeah.
Over at the International Gateway,
Mhm.
I went over to there because France is so daggone busy.
Mhm.
It's so busy
Yeah.
all the time.
What's
there's
a
some-
ratatouille pulling these days in wait times?
It was 65 minutes yesterday. Posted
Mhm.
65.
Mhm.
Now, touring plans had them at 40. So,
Mm.
All right.
even
Just
if
a little
you,
bit better.
yeah, but even if you split the two, it's 50
Yeah.
minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've had my fill of it. I'll
Yeah. You're good.
go over on. I live close enough. I'll go over on a rainy day if I want to ride it.
You're right.
Because you did it, Jen. I still have not done it.
I know, it's so crazy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
done it yet. which
Oh
is
my gosh,
Yeah.
that was the first ride I ever got evacuated on.
Oh,
This
Which,
one.
yeah,
interesting.
yep, it was. International Gateway.
Yes.
I love this one. Now, you can get tons of people walking by, coming from the Skyliner and heading out into the park, or heading from the park to the Skyliner, or down to the boats. But they have those benches along that pathway, huge canopy of trees, and it is, generally people that are coming through there are wore out.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So it's nice. It's peaceful and quiet there. I love this one because
Yeah.
you can see a lot of what's going on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, it's a
that's-
great one. Did you walk
Yeah.
over to the quiet pool and just like sit there
Mhm.
and enjoy it?
Oh man.
Jump in.
Oh man.
That's a
The
pocket.
UK pavilion. Oh, sorry.
No.
I was just interrupting you, Rob. So come
Nope.
on. I mean,
I'm
I was
just moving along so I
Quiet
can.
pool pocket.
So we can.
yeah, quiet pool is pocket. Go on.
Yes, it definitely is, isn't it? The UK pavilion,
Mhm.
back behind Lords and Ladies, they're near the bandstand.
Yeah.
Even if they're playing something, even if somebody's on the bandstand, you get a concert too. So
Right? Yeah.
yeah,
Win-win.
they have that's a nice location back there. If nothing's
Yeah.
going on, it's a good spot to hide too.
Mhm.
And I say
I don't-
hide, I mean just so you're not out there in the madness that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told this. I might have told this story only for resort guests previously over at dillosresort.com, but not on the podcast proper. But I stage managed a show at UCF in the summer of 1998, and we needed British newspapers. So I called the retail store in the United Kingdom and went and bought newspapers because they had papers on hand
That's so
From-
funny.
from England that I was like, well, if you got them, I'll buy them. And
Mhm.
in order to have props in the show of London newspapers,
That's
went
pretty funny.
over to the United Kingdom. And
That's dedication for the art.
Right? Exactly. Did you drive backstage for those two?
I did not. I probably parked in the
Oh.
beach club, went
No.
over, swam in
Walked
the
over.
quiet pool.
Yeah, exactly. While you had after checking into the beach club, then you
Of
swam
course, yes,
in
because
the quiet pool.
I did book. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go on, Rob.
I'm
don't
sorry, I
worry.
was just reading what
No.
Oh,
Liz
you're,
had
you're
said.
We're being
allowed.
awkward
I
over
mean,
here.
I
It's
know.
fine.
Just interrupting you left and
He
right.
talks about the Val's talking about the gardens in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are that is another nice spot. I feel like sometimes it can get that one too many people know about. At least I
Mhm.
feel like they do, and I don't
Yeah.
feel like I can relax back there, or just
Mhm.
I don't know. That's
Great
kind of
spot.
how I ended up. That's kind of where I ended up going with all of these. Is like, all right, is anybody going to bother me back here?
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
great way to look at it.
Yeah. couple of the last ones, across from the Showcase Events Pavilion,
Mhm.
along the lagoon, along
Mhm.
World Showcase Lagoon. There's a nice view. There's benches there, and they're
Yeah.
facing away from everything. Obviously, a good spot to watch the fireworks. There's never any foot traffic back there.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a
Yeah.
good spot. How can we forget the fountains near Imagination?
You mean the essential fountains, Rob?
The essential fountains, yes.
It's the
I
ultimate.
wanted you to say it. I didn't want to say it. I wanted to hear you say it.
He's setting you up.
They have. I honestly, I didn't realize how much seating there was. If you walk towards the back, past, there's a lot of seating back there.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had never. Forgive me. I had never walked that far back until yesterday, and that
It's
was
essential to
definitely
do so.
yes.
Mhm.
And on those hot pocket days,
Nice use of
If-
yes and.
if the wind is blowing,
Yes.
you can get a little spray off the fountains.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that is definitely, I was surprised. I was surprised that one was there.
Mhm. Yeah. I like it.
The last
I'm
one
ready
I
to go
got,
to Epcot.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know, right?
yeah, the last one I have is like since they renamed the sections of Epcot, World Nature.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Future World.
Future
Yeah.
World. It's in Future
Yeah.
World.
Right there in front of Living with the Land, all the seating, it's underneath the monorail line.
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of people that can walk through there, but the way they have that set up, you're a good distance away from the normal footpath traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
under that monorail line, I think that could be a nice big section. Is it a pocket? I don't know if I'd
Mhm.
call it a pocket, but it'd certainly be a nice place to sit, relax, and just kind of take it in.
Yeah.
Take it in there. Yeah.
I like it. That's a great list, Rob. I'm sorry we interrupted you so much, but that's a
No,
fantastic list.
no.
And you did a lot of homework. You conquered the mission that we gave you. How long is this paper that you have?
Like I didn't see Jen's text to you, so I don't know like if she used all caps or not when she was
No,
putting you on this.
no.
mission.
Actually, it was a
No.
typical
I was-
Gen text. So it was.
Rob,
Yeah.
can you describe a typical Gen text?
You got the point across. You asked me if I would be able to help you, and I said yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, also going, if you want to, you don't have to, though.
Right. Well, I think everybody knows that that's part of it.
I don't even need to say it at this point.
Nope.
Um,
And-
Go ahead.
I'll help you. So
that's true too. If I may share my screen for a moment.
Yes.
I just wanted to bring this up here. While you were talking,
Oh.
Rob, I thought back to this day of us doing the Segway tour because I feel like a lot of the pockets you mentioned, I was able to experience in the early morning Epcot hours with the dew on the ground. That I got to segue around, and Morocco especially always comes to mind. And it was just so cool to be able to do that. And I'm so sad that this doesn't exist anymore. So I just wanted to point out my sadness about a change that happened because it wouldn't be an episode if I didn't at least mention a few of those. But I loved this Segway tour because it was very pockety and dewy, which is my favorite as well. That's all.
how long ago was that? When was that?
That was 2013 that I did
Yeah,
that. So
that-
I want to say it probably didn't go much longer after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I could see that could be a.
It was cool.
I do have one thing I'd like to bring up.
Oh
Please
yes.
do.
I tried a couple things.
Yeah.
And the only one I really want to bring up. I thought about it all day after I got home at the Pastoral Palette because they have the Festival of the Arts going on right now.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we were going to
Yeah,
talk
the
about
halfway
that
point.
too, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm kind of shoehorning this in here at the end. At the Pastoral Palette.
what
Mhm.
the show was really going to be about was the halfway point, the Festival of the Arts. And I'm glad Theme Park Rob is here to bring it up because I listened back to last week's podcast where we were talking about Epic Universe and what would you do now that there's 3 major theme parks at Universal. We never really said what we would actually do, and that's totally fine. But here we are
Oh, I
to stay
yeah.
on topic. No, we're not going to say it right now. We're staying on your topic, Theme Park Rob.
I
Okay.
just and yesterday Val was Lewis told me that Val she really enjoyed this too.
Mm.
They have the Black Forest cake. It's
Mhm.
$4.75. I ranked these. This one got a 9 out of 10.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah. It is shareable, but don't make them get their
You
own.
want it all for yourself.
Yeah. It is definitely shareable though.
$4.75 is a good deal.
Mhm.
I know,
Yeah.
especially for as good as this was. Now, I like this kind of thing, so some people might be like, "Oh no, well, let's see what's wrong with him." There's a lot wrong with me, but the cherries on it, they had 9 cherries on there. They were nice and tart, just like perfect. I was just. It is a mousse chocolate cake with chantilly cream on it.
Mm.
And then for a surprise, inside they have some cherries inside of it. The chocolate is so rich, and the flavors are it is amazing. I thought about it all day. I've already talked Tracy, and I said we've got to go. I said we
Mhm.
have to go. So we're going back over Friday night, and I think
Nice.
yeah, it is. I highly recommend for $4.75. It's a heck of
Yeah,
a deal.
that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
For like a dessert, I mean, it's crazy. That's a good
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
Well, especially
Nice.
that you're saying it's shareable, which means it's large
Yeah.
enough to. That's
Yeah. It is definitely a good size.
It's not a sliver, you know?
No.
No.
now.
I'll put I
Yeah.
took a couple pictures. Maybe I'll post them. Where should I post them?
Post them in that one channel Discord so people pay
Yeah.
$1 a month to see them.
Oh, there we go.
If you want to see
There we
those pictures, you gotta pay $1.
I was kind of holding on to all those from yesterday so that I didn't spoil so I didn't spoil it
I know
today.
you got to see Piglet in Eeyore. It was cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
This is an excellent question from Jeffers. Which pocket would be best to eat this cake in?
Morocco,
Oh.
because it's not that far.
Yeah.
It's not that
Just
far.
before we wrap things up, in the overall, with the food booths busy walking around yesterday, because that's what I hear is that the lines have been a little wonky, crazy.
Yeah, they obviously later in the day. I mean, I got there as soon as the park opened.
Right.
Around I was leaving at, like I said, 1:30, 2 o'clock, maybe
Yeah.
2:30, and they were already starting to get long. The
Business
park
was
was
starting to
getting,
pick up.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I'm ready to go to God. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I
Ready to
know.
go.
Come on down. It's starting to warm up.
Oh, gosh. Oh, it's
Sigh.
fine. Well, here's what I'll say because Theme Park Rob is a member of the Dillos Diz Community Core.
Yeah.
And frequently we chat it up over at DillosDizResort.com, which is our Patreon. Everyone at DillosDizResort.com has been waiting patiently for us to announce the dates of our next meetup.
I didn't know this
it's
was
not-
going to happen.
It's not happening tonight.
Oh, I thought I was
but
going to get to be here.
No, I have to. Listen. Something unexpected in a good way has come up this week. Sure. I have to get past the anxiety haze that I'm in order to move past the next. I have to pause. I was ready, but something has come up, and I have to wait. Just no. Sorry, Lewis. Drum roll. No drum rolls. Only more waiting. But we'll have to do an emergency pedals session over at DillosDizResort.com. Whether it's right after my anxiety haze this round has lifted or not remains to be seen. But that is the delay. It is on me. It is all on me right now. # blame Frank.
No one doubts that. I mean, it's pretty much been on you.
since I have everybody's ear,
Mm.
I will speak for everybody in the one channel. We're
Especially
okay. Just
Lexi.
take your time. It's fine. We're all fine. When you're
Okay.
ready to announce, we'll be here.
You are not speaking for Lexi. I can
I
tell you
know.
that right now.
Or Jefferson. Or Lewis.
Or Lewis.
Yeah.
There it is. Hashtag already did blame.
Oh, already did blame Frank. Yeah, well. Maybe I'll
Right.
explain more tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. We'll find out. You never know. But Theme Park Rob, you're on all the socials. You should share them with the world right now.
Yeah. You can find me everywhere with Theme Park Rob.
TikTok, the X,
Insta, the X,
Twitter.
the X Twitter,
Yeah,
the
Instas.
platform
Insta.
formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
The
Everywhere.
Instas.
All right.
All the
Well,
places.
I appreciate you doing some homework, man on the scene. A little Moana curveball thrown in today. But thanks for checking us out. Whether you're listening, you're watching, whatever it is you're doing, dillosdiz.com will get you to all the places, including that Everybody Calm Down t-shirt that
That's
Theme
right.
Park Rob is wearing right now.
Now available on TeePublic.
Until next time, that's Theme Park Rob. She's Jen. I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.
Take care of each other.